it's not that great, really. Ritual, bound by fate, by the artist, frequent.
Boy, howdy. This is Father Oates filling in for Humamoto, filling in for Dan Schneider. This bit is already stale, and it's been stale since 2012. I should probably get my goose adjusted correctly, shouldn't I? And Ferris as well needs to be kind of adjusted. There we go. Quite excellente. I don't have a whole lot to fucking yap about, so, I mean, you know. It's been a scorcher out today, and I'm burnt up, and I have weird scratches on my arms. And so without further ado, we will start reading Bad Apple, as has been requested in the community Discord. me find my tab with Bad Apple. The following story contains story spoilers for ending 1 of Snoot Game. 4.5 months after the incident of Volcano High, Adon is left a broken man, haunted by his sins and the ghosts of his past. Unsure of what comes after the storm, however, after a chance encounter with some past acquaintances, it is possible for him to find light in the darkness. The first chapter is Fade to Black. None of this matters. At least that's what I wish I could believe. I want to believe that this is nothing more than a setback, a bump in the road, a trial from Raptor Jesus or whatever God is out there as a way to make me stronger. That's what I've been told, at least through the various message boards, grief support sites. Hell, I even tried Icelandic birdhouse crafting forums and anything to try and make sense of this hell that I found myself in. But all I see is more hollow and empty words that don't dull the pain. Stay with me, here please. Don't leave me alone. The last words I ever said to her. Those words etched in my mind, echoing through my head like a symphony of torment, of how I failed her, how I let her die, how I let everyone die, all because I was a shitty boyfriend. I should have died that day, growing weary of the disingenuous bullshit laced across my screen. My hand moves to the corner of my monitor, and across the screen's darkness I see myself, my face completely devoid of color from not leaving my shithole apartment for weeks, bloodshot eyes from being awake for 2 days straight. And to my right, a silhouette staring blankly at me. Fang? I get up and turn around in shock, only to be greeted by the front door and a pile of garbage bags and empty bottles that surround it. God damn it, not again, I groan. Haunted by the apparitions of my past sins, reminding me of my failure. In a moment of stunned silence, I gaze across the room blankly before snapping back to my senses. Well now that I'm up and about, I should probably find some more ways to occupy myself. I rise from my chair rather awkwardly, thanks to my brace on the left leg. I was finally able to ditch the crutch a couple weeks ago, although the doctors say my leg didn't heal as quickly as they thought it would. My wounded leg is the least of my troubles, however. I make my way over to the kitchen with a slight limp, almost tripping over the garbage that roamed the floors of my apartment like a herd of sheep. It's not like I'm having guests over anytime soon, so who gives a shit if it's messy? Entering the kitchen, I grab a jar of instant coffee and a mug from the counter. Dollar store brand, but it does the job. I open the jar and pour the contents into the cup before mixing with hot water from the sink. I stir the unholy concoction with my finger to mix the contents. One of the upsides of being too poor to afford a kettle is not having to worry about burning yourself with coffee. I begin to take a sip of the lukewarm beverage, to be greeted with a taste of reminiscent of dirt, unnaturally sweet chemicals, and a familiar hint of what could be described as coffee. Thanks, Iggy. It'll have to do. I only get so much money from disability checks after the incident. It's pretty much my only income at this point. My grades back at Volcano High weren't good enough to get me into any college. Plus, the Army didn't want a shell-shocked cripple under their banner, leaving me with the glamorous choice of begging for the government for scraps. After that, my parents more or less threw me away. You got a second chance, and this is what you did with it. What a waste. My father's words echo through my head. So much for having loving parents, putting me in this dumpster of an apartment, the shittiest part of town, barely even talking to me throughout the school year. And neither of them visited their son, who was in a coma after getting shot. Forgotten and abandoned by those around me, a fitting punishment for someone like me, a loser, someone who treated the few that cared about me like trash, an asshole. Someone whose ignorance to my girlfriend's pain caused a massacre. I deserve all of this. I need to take my mind off this. Setting down the coffee mug, I move forward. I move toward one of the cabinets and grab one of the pill bottles labeled Adderall. Still, before I open the bottle and embrace its sweet, comforting energy, I feel a distinct lack of weight from the bottle. My hand slumps on the counter, and I let it roll down to the floor to join the collection of trash that occupies the floor. Raptor Jesus, help me. I was hoping that I wouldn't have to go out for at least another couple days. I know the pharmacy isn't that far. There's always a possibility of my leg giving out on me again, someone robbing me, or God knows what else. Despite it all, I would still rather any of those things happen to me than falling asleep again and be forced to relive that day again and again. With my mind made up, I grab my wallet, a pack of cigarettes, my keys, and I head to the door, careful not to trip over any more trash. My keys enter the front door lock, making a mechanical sound with a turn to the left. However, what I saw when I turned around caused me to jump back against my door. What I see is Naomi staring at me with arms folded, shooting me a venomous look. The same look she showed me right before the prom night at Feng's house. She's not real. She's dead. Nothing more than a nightmare. How pathetic, she spits out. Bad enough you messed things up with Feng and got us all killed, but this is what you want to choose? This is what you choose to do with your life? I turn away from her and walk towards the exit. She's all in your head. It's all bullshit. No! What's bullshit is how you managed to fuck up a relationship that was practically handed to you after every string I pulled. Naomi continues to rant. How are you this much of a loser? I've had enough of this shit. I turn around and raise an accusing finger towards her. What the hell do you know, Naomi? You're dead. She sneers at my angry response and takes a few steps forward. I know that if you stayed at that trashy little school you crawled out of, maybe Nazer and I would still be alive. She taunts me. Maybe Fang would still be alive too. She's right. Deep down, I know she's right. However, I can't help but clench my fist at her callousness as the rage bubbles inside of me towards a figment of my own imagination. Get out of my head, you peach-colored cunt! I say, my voice dripping with vitriol and rage. She chuckles at the statement and proceeds to reach in her pocket. I can tell she's gripping something from the outline of her hand in her pockets. Struck a nerve, did I? She says cheekily, This gives me an idea. She pulls the object from her pockets, revealing it to be a revolver. The same revolver that... Oh no. Let's make this easier for you. Do you think you'll stop it this time? The apparition faxes me with a sadistic smirk as she lifts the pistol and presses it against the side of her head, cocking the hammer. I can't take this anymore. I turn away and continue to march towards the end of the hallway while ignoring Naomi's taunts. Never forget, you did this, and you deserve everything else coming to you. Naomi growls before her words are overshadowed by a more powerful sound. Bang! Instinctively, I turn around but see nobody. The walls painted with a dull gray rather than the brains of my former classmate. Just the empty hallway of my apartment's floor. It's all in your head, it's all in your head, it's all in your head. I reassure myself as I continue making my way towards the exit. I think at my wrist. After a good 15 minutes of walking through the twilight-dim streets of Skin Row, I finally made it to the pharmacy. The walk was surprisingly less arduous than I thought it was. I was worried that my leg would completely BTFO if I were to walk too long. And the streets seem rather tame, making me feel less stressed about forgetting about forgetting my pocket knife at home. I think my better instincts for going when it wasn't completely dark, and my leg... No one would jump a cripple, right? I don't know, maybe. Enough of that. DVS Pharmacy. With the lights for the V burnt out, I look at the pharmacy's dingy-up sign before entering. Lovely. Entering the establishment, I was greeted with a messy and disheveled-looking pharmacy. The shelves are rather disorganized and missing a lot of stock. The sound of whatever Zoomer garbage is currently most popular on the radio echoing throughout the store. There's nothing else I need here other than Adderall, so I don't really give a shit what the store looks like. I just need to get my meds and get out of here. When I make it to the counter, I can see the pharmacist casually casually scrolling through her phone while sitting at the chair with her feet kicked up on the counter. She's a bright yellow raptor that looks a few years older than me, I think. This isn't my usual hookup. Where the hell is he? I think to myself. Someone say something? She chirps rather lazily. Of course, I was fucking mumbling. I'm here to pick up a prescription for Adderall. I reply to her, while caught off guard by my loose lips. She replies with a sigh, gets up from her chair, grabs a clipboard sitting on the desk beside, and looks up its contents. Name? Anon Mouse. I can see the gears turn in her head as she scans the clipboard before letting out an annoyed sigh. And what is the purpose of your prescription? What the fuck? The previous pharmacist didn't ask me that shit. Why are they now suddenly interested? I try to think of a good reason. I need it to help with my narcolepsy. It's getting in the way of my studies, I say to the pharmacist. Spaghetti spillage averted, or so I thought, as the pharmacist shoots me a condescending look at my response. Did she see through me? Uh-huh. And that's why it says this is your 4th visit to this month? Or how your narcolepsy isn't listed here? Shit, I didn't expect her to be this perspective, considering just a moment ago she was on her own world, browsing SnootTube or Rexrox or whatever normal people waste their time with these days. She's now staring with a furrowed brow, waiting for me to answer. They said for me to come today, though. I choke out. The perturbed raptor seems unamused at my answer, briefly glancing at the clipboard before returning her glare. See, what I think is going on here is you're making shit up as a way to make sure you get your fix, seeing how much you've been here. So tell you what, why don't you come back again once you get a handful of why don't you come back again once you get a handle on things, okay, junkie? My face goes red. What the hell is her problem? Fucking piss-stained meteor dodger. Her face's color matches mine, as her glare only intensifies, bordering on rage. Of course I fucking mumbled that. So is there anything else I can help you with? Or you just continue wasting my time? The raptor clerk spitefully groaned. Not so nice being on the receiving end of that, huh? I'm not really in any position to be picking fights right now. I can always find another place to get more meds. I turn around and walk towards the exit while flashing her the bird on my way out. Fucking bitch. My thoughts are interrupted as an unknown force rams into me from the right, knocking me against the glass door. Fuck it. Having an arm injury might be fun too. I'm sorry. A frantic yet gentle feminine voice calls to me. Why does it sound familiar? Lifting myself up and using the door as support while positioning the most of my weight on my non-crippled leg, I turn to investigate the mysterious attacker. Anon? Wait, Stella? I would recognize that Stegosaurus anywhere. Lime green skin, verdant hair buns, wearing what appears to be a Full Metal Alchemist-style t-shirt, and a rather plain pair of shorts and white sneakers. Glad to see she's gotten better taste in anime, at least. It's the first time I've seen her since high school. She might have been a little odd, but she was one of the few people at Volcano High that was genuinely friendly to me in her own way. I called her weird. Why was I such a dick to her? Although when I look at her now, I don't see the socially awkward yet bubbly Stego. I see only a girl who looks as if she's just seen a ghost. A reminder of her painful past. The green in her face turning white as she's paralyzed with fear. She says slowly while backing away. She then turns around and proceeds to run in the direction behind her to stay away from me. Why do I have this effect on women? More importantly, why did she become that scared when she saw me for the first time in months? We only talked a handful of times. It's not like I really know her that well to make that big of an impression on her. Still, Stella would be one of the closest things I could consider to an old friend at this point. And I have hoped our union would be less depressing. Not that I'm surprised. My inner monologue is cut short by obnoxious laughter emerging from the store. I turn to see that cunt of a pharmacist pointing and laughing at me. Have I really been standing here that long? Well, I'm done here anyway. Good riddance. I let go of the door and continue the long and perilous journey back to my apartment. My apartment where I can relax without any Adderall and risk falling asleep again. Fuck my life. On my way home, I find myself alone with my thoughts while passing all the roughed up buildings and graffiti painted signs that I previously made myself familiar with. Many things have been clouding my mind. My financial situation, trying to find a source to get my pills from, trying to make it home without getting murdered. But why is it that bumping into someone I barely knew has fucked with my head the most? I haven't really given much thought to the friendship after high school. I always find a way to fuck everything one way or another, and after what happened, what I caused to happen, no, never again. After all, Stella's reaction proves everything I've been worried about reconnecting with old friends. Rosa probably feels the same way. Same with Reed and Trish, especially her. Never forget, you did this, and you deserve everything else coming to you. She's absolutely right. Not that I have any shits left to give, at least. Fuck! My pity party comes to an abrupt end, and the violent stop as I feel a brutal force of blunt object smashing my leg, my crippled leg. A blunt object comes towards my leg again, hitting the leg brace and filling air with the sound of metal striking metal, along with whatever is left of my leg brace hitting the ground in shattered pieces. The pain is so intense. My leg feels like it's been lit on fire. I fall on my back where I can briefly catch a glimpse of my attacker, a menacing figure of short stature in a large gray coat and her face obscured with a paintball mask. I can only stare at them in shock as they move closer, their gloved hands gripping the lightly bloodstained bat. Behind the obscured figure, I see Fang standing behind them, looking at me with a cold, malevolent stare. What? Shut the fuck up! The figure spits at me within a muffled voice as she interrupts my cries with a swift kick to the face, knocking me out. Skinny piece of shit! Oye, Eliate de él! Don't just stand there. Help me get him in the van. Vamos! What the fuck was that? I finally return to my senses after fading in and out of consciousness. My eyes are greeted by the sight of a car seat to my right. Wait, when did I get in a car? I shoot up before a surge of pain continues from my abdomen, causing me to groan in response. Oh yeah, este bien anon. I look in the direction of the voice, and I see none other than Rosa in the driver's seat, looking over at me with a concerned expression. Wait, when did she... Rosa, what are you... I pause. What happened? Damn. It hurts to talk. Before responding, Rosa pulls the car over on the side of the road. She leans slightly out of her seat to face me, her attire consisting of a dark orange hoodie with some sort of orange flower printed across the chest. Thanks to my lack of botany knowledge, I don't know what flower it is. Gracias, Raptor Jesus! We found you. You were getting beat up by some maton on the street near the pharmacy where Stella found you, Rosa explains to me. Wait, Stella? I inquire. Rosa responds by nodding over the car seat next to her. The gesture prompts me to shift my position so I can get a view of the car seat. There I see Stella, curled up in a ball in the passenger seat, arms around her knees, buried in her lap as she quietly sobs. Hi, and I'm... She tries to say with a shaky and muffled voice before bursting back into tears. Wait, why is she crying? Did I really scare her that much earlier? Did I? No te preocupes. It's not anything you did. Stella has been... Her voice trailing off as if she's trying to figure out how to deliver her following words with tact. She looks at Stella with sympathy before returning her gaze to me. She's been through a lot of pain since the day that happened. I know instantly what day she's referring to. How one bad day and one shitty boyfriend caused innocent people to die, and God knows how many lives destroyed. It looks like you've been through a lot of pain yourself, no? Rosa's words breaking me out of my brief contemplation, she says while grazing towards my leg. That suddenly has blood-stained bandage, with my leg brace nowhere to be found. Just my fucking luck. Those cost more than what I get in a month. My gaze returns to the bandage covering my leg. Mi madre gave me a first aid kit to keep in my car. so I did what I could to stop the bleeding. Rosa shifts her focus towards me again. Who did this to you, Anon? What kind of person would attack an injured Chico and leave them to die in the streets? Rosa's words flare with a mix of concern and fury. Her general reaction takes me aback. Why would anybody be this concerned over what happened to me? Besides, neither of them visited me in the hospital. Why would anybody suddenly give a fuck about me now? But my pitiful inner monologue is interrupted by Rosa's continued glance, as if she's expecting an answer about my suspected attacker. I struggled to answer while trying to describe the attacker. I was only able to get a brief glance before I lost consciousness. I tried to recall the attacker had a feminine voice. Despite her voice being muffled, she seemed on the short side. The sudden realization hits me like a truck. Of course! God, I'm retarded! It doesn't matter right now. We need to report this to the police, yeah. Rosa's statement pulled me out of my thoughts. There's no point. The police aren't going to come for something like me. Aren't going to do something for someone like me anyway. I say with a mixture of pain and exhaustion in my voice. This sours Rosa's expression, but motions to my leg again. But we still have to take you to the hospital. Tu pierna toda está en mal estado. I'm really glad Spanish class is one of the few things I remember from back in high school. Rosa, I don't have any insurance. What little money I do have probably won't even cover the hospital bill. Rosa's expression goes from determined to uncertain. At the same time, she begins to mumble something to herself in Spanish. Glad to see I'm not the only one who does that. Rosa, isn't your mom a doctor? Stella softly chimes in, snapping Rosa out of her mumbling. I can tell Rosa begins to contemplate Stella's suggestion as she rubs her wrist. It's not her area of expertise, but I'm sure my mother should be able to help Anon's injuries. She nods to Stella before I can interject with anything. She faces the windshield and turns her key in the ignition, causing the van's engine to roar back to life. Don't worry, Anon. We'll be there soon. No te mueves. She calls out to me while shifting her eyes towards the mirror. Why didn't they just leave me? We finally arrived at Rosa's house, after driving for almost half an hour. The car ride was rather uneventful. Rosa caught on how painful it was for me, and insisted I save my voice. No argument here. On the other hand, Stella managed to stop crying when she withdrew a pair of headphones from her bag, immersing herself in her own world, attempting to soothe herself. I can't help wondering what happened to make her so shell-shocked. She doesn't look crippled. She survived. Did she know anyone who died? I've only ever seen her hang out with Rosa and that purple raptor a couple times. Okay, we're here. Rosa's announcement pulls me out of my thoughts as I glance at her house and its general surroundings. A beige-colored house adorned with cobblestone situated in one of the quieter parts of Alcadero Bluffs, away from the city, overlooking the countryside. The lawn laid before the house could only be described as immaculate, accompanied by a small but beautiful garden that crept beneath the house's windows, displaying a composition of various colors and plants. Considering how passionate Rosa was about gardening back at Volcano High, it makes sense that her passion would carry back to her at home. Stella, I need you to help me get Anon inside, okay? Rosa requests her friend, devoid of the authoritative presence I've noticed from her request in the past. Stella replies with a nod while refusing to return her glance. And the two exit the car and make their way. The car door to my right opens in front of me, and I see a pious Anglo greet me. Prior to her usual outfit back when I knew her at Volcano High, her orange hoodie was accompanied by a pair of clean jeans, brown fall boots, contrasting her skirt and scandals she often wore. Which makes sense as the days get colder and colder as we head into November. Rosa begins trying to help me out while attempting not to put weight on my further crippled left leg. Cuidado, Anon. I got you. She calls out and moves to my right side to offer support, where Stella accompanies my left side. Thanks, I struggle to say as I put both my arms on their shoulders, and the two proceed to help me make the journey aside. From 10 feet in front of us, the door opens, revealing a middle-aged ankylosaur woman of medium height. Rosa's mother. Dios mío, ¿qué le pasó tu amigo, niña? She asks her daughter with a great deal of concern. Lo atacaron. En locale le dolía moco la pierna, mama? Rosa calls out while helping to carry me indoors. Oh dear, sit him on the couch. We'll have to take a look. I will only be a second. She addresses us when she finally makes our way indoors, presumably switching to English so Stella understands the directions. After entering, we took a right into the living room and saw it was adorned with a typical Latin decor. Along with a cross hanging above the TV, I also spy a handful of framed pictures of Rosa and her family, looking like she has a brother and sister. Over here, Annan, Rosa says while shifting herself to allow me to safely sit on the couch. Ay, tienes. Rosa's mother enters the room with a medical kit, a bottle of pills, and a bottle of water. She sets them aside and faces me. It's all going to be okay. Annan, was it? Yeah, thank you, doctor. I pause mid-sentence. I don't think I've actually ever learned Rosa's last name. She replies with a chuckle. It's okay, Niño. You may call me Miss Castillo. Mrs. Castillo redirects her attention towards my mess of a leg. Notice how blood-stained. The now blood-stained bandage applied to me by her daughter. The slight rip in my jeans around the affected area. The sight of torn denim reminding me of the past I endured not long ago. I'm afraid there's not much I can do here, Annan, but the best I can do is maybe clean the wound, apply some new bandages, and help with the pain, she says with a tinge of regret in her voice. She reaches over to her medical kit and withdraws a pair of bandages, gauze pads, and other various medical supplies. I've seen so many first aid kits appear in the typical boomer shooters I waste my time with, but to actually see what's inside them is a new experience. Girls, could you give us a moment, please? I think Annan would appreciate a little privacy for the process. She turns her head to address Rosa and Stella, who are both standing by the doorframe observing the two of us. See, Mama? Rosa replies in her mother tongue, hey, displaying a level of concern in her eyes towards me. Oh, okay, Stella replies meekly. Rosa takes Stella by the hand and gives a reassuring nod before taking the two girls into the other room, their footsteps becoming fainter and fainter. Okay, Annan. We just need to take off your pants so we can get a closer look at the damage. Not how I expected my first time with a middle-aged lady to be. God, what the fuck is wrong with my mind? I really hope I'm not mumbling this. Some rather awkward time passes. Turns out the gash was caused by the leg brace. It must have dug itself into my skin when it was destroyed. Thankfully, Rosa's mother managed to disinfect the wound and applied some new bandages. However, my left leg is once again fractured, and I now have no leg brace or crutches, just my fucking luck. However, I'm still taken aback by the way Rosa's mom treated me. She didn't treat me as some delinquent or burden, but rather a guest, and opened her home to me and showed me genuine concern and kindness. When any hospital would have thrown me out for not having insurance, it's a miracle I was able to take care of that bill when I got shot. As my eyes lazily wander the living room of the Castillo household, I hear the slow footsteps emerging from the hallway. Hola, Annan. Oh, fuck. Hola, Annan. How are you holding up? She asks while holding a mug emanating a comforting ray of steam emerging from the cup, Stella following right behind her, holding a cup in her own two hands. I brought you some tea. It's chamomile, she says, handing me the beverage. I've never really been one for tea before, but I imagine it's a vast upgrade over the boiled dirt I've been drinking for the coffee that passed at home. I raise the warm cup to my lips. The taste is rather pleasant, silky smooth, with gentle notes of honey and apple. I'll have to grab this next time I go out. I rest my cup on the coffee table sitting in front of me and address my host and saviors. Thanks, Rosa. You really didn't have to do all this for me, I say as she and Stella sit down on the couch adjacent to me. But why? Why did you two save me? But why? Why did you two save me? Rosa seems taken aback by my question. Even a subtle degree of surprise creeps from Stella's face. What do you mean, what? What do you mean, why did we save you? Tejan hecho mucho dano. We couldn't just leave a friend to die in the streets. A friend? After all this time, they consider me a friend? After the way I ruined and abused their flowers the first time we met? After how shitty I was to Stella, who was just happy to meet someone who shared their love of anime, and did nothing but try to be my friend? After all Feng did it to everyone, because of what I failed to stop, why don't they hate me? Of course we consider you a friend, niño estúpido. Even in the stupor of self-pity, I can't stop mumbling. I know you never mean to destroy my flowers. Accidents happen. And I could tell that underneath of all the angst, you weren't bad, just lost. Rose's words echo the room with a mixture of exasperation yet compassion. And don't blame yourself for a second for what the puta satanica de merde did. That is not on you. Not for 1 second, Anon. No, I fucked up, Rosa. I fucked up real bad. If I'd have been a better friend to those around me and not put myself before others, things could have been different. My voice becomes strained. It tightens in my chest, increasing like a vice as I struggle to contain my composure. Rose's eyes meet my own and remain focused on them for what feels like an eternity. After a few seconds, her eyes meet the ground again and sighs as if she's about to speak, only to be cut off by a neighboring voice. I don't hate you, Anon. The somber yet sympathetic words emerge from Stella, sitting beside Rosa as she stares vacantly at the cup she's clasping with both of her hands. I forgive you for acting the way you did towards me, and I'm sorry I ran away from you earlier. Stella continued without looking in my direction. Her eyes gazed up from the warm cup. Ever since She finally looks up towards me, her eyes telling a story of fear, pain, sorrow. The struggling to look on the Stego's face tells me everything. She wants to elaborate further and explain why she's become so withdrawn and meek compared to the bubbly yet socially outward fortune teller I knew her at Volcano High. Rosa looks at her with sympathy and takes this as an opportunity to regain control of the conversation. As she takes hold of Stella's hands and gives it a squeeze. What Stella is trying to say, Anon, is that she has been... Rosa briefly pauses, and she carefully tries to think of how to continue her explanation as she turns her gaze towards Stella. Going through a great deal of pain since the incident, like I told you earlier. She's been finding it difficult to talk to people she's not used to. Rosa returns her gaze towards me. When I took her to the pharmacy to... Rosa abruptly stops her sentences as if she just entered a new sensitive subject. I can see the wheels in Rosa's head turn as she thinks of how to better explain Stella's behavior, while the lime stegosaurus remained fixated on a cup of tea with a sad expression. Fue una sorpresa. We are not expecting to see an old amigo there. It all became more clear the more I thought I gave it, and the more Rosa continued to explain it. The shooting probably gave her some form of post-traumatic stress disorder, seeing her classmates dead, her school in chaos. That explains her massive personality change compared to the Stella I knew half a year ago. Everyone's fighting their own battles. The familiar words come back to me as I felt a twinge of guilt emerging from my gut. I'm not the only one who walked away from that school with scars. Why do I have to be such a self-centered piece of shit? The room has been silent long enough as Rosa continues to hold Stella's hand, and she looks towards me, assuming I have something to say after her explanation. Damn, I'm truly sorry, Stella. I can imagine how horrible going through all that must have been for you. I empathize with Stella, avoiding mentioning details of the incident similar to what Rosa's been doing, likely to prevent the trauma from resurfacing. Thank you, Anon. That means a lot. The three of us spent the next half hour talking about what transpired in our lives since the shooting at Volcano High. Surprisingly, Rosa decided to stay and take a 5th year at Volcano High, confusing me as she's never seen the type of person who would need an extra year in high school. She always seemed like an intelligent, hardworking girl. Rose explained that the incident had opened her eyes and made her realize that she needed more time to contemplate her future. However, I noticed a level of doubt and uncertainty when she gives her reasoning, giving me a feeling there's more to their decision than she's letting on. Additionally, Rosa mentioned that she took over Naomi's now vacant position as student council president and is the head of the gardening club. I swear this woman is trying to work herself to the grave, but she spoke as if she had some sort of obligation with her choices. I want to make a difference where I can, to fix everything that Puta destroyed. Definitely referring to Fang. On the other hand, Stella's situation seems to be all too familiar to my own. From what she was able to explain with the help of Rosa, referring to herself as Hikimori, meaning most days she shuts herself in a room and avoids the world, living with her parents, not going to college or even taking a 5th year like Rosa. At the very least, Stella still has her parents to look after her. Both Rosa and Stella mentioned that they're doing their best to support her and help her emotionally. They've been doing miles more than my own parents, who pretty much threw me away after I failed to live up to their expectations. When I mentioned this, Stella began apologizing to me in a somewhat excessive amount. I assume she's trying to give me her sympathy. When the time came to tell my own story, I explained the current situation after Volcano High, how I'm unemployed and not in school, still rotting away in my apartment in Skin Row, surprising them both that I live in Skin Row, even if they found me at the pharmacy in Skin Row, or almost getting beaten to death by a masked midget in Skin Row. Still, I guess I never told them. However, I make sure to neglect some of the more unsavory aspects of my already unsavory life, such as my downing pills like candy, not to mention the constant nightmares and hallucinations I have. I only just met with him again. I don't want them to know how fucked up I am. Face. Later, I tried to go home so I could shitpost and smoke my troubles away. Rosa refused to let me go due to my injuries. How I'm now without a leg brace, and how my former crutch was sitting under my bed in my shitty apartment. I was hoping just to go home and smoke and shitpost the pain away, but she's right. I'm not in any condition to leave. Besides, no one has been this kind and gracious to me in a long time. Who am I to throw all that away? Still, I needed to smoke. Fortunately, Rosa and Stella went upstairs to have a private discussion, granting me the perfect opportunity to indulge myself. With the help of a desk chair that Rosa's mom let me to navigate the bathroom without putting any pressure on my leg, I guided myself towards the house's entrance and to the back deck. I could forget that I existed for a bit. I'm greeted with a sea of stars in the night sky as I quietly slide open the door, all while slowly lowering myself to the ground, careful not to further injure my already fucked up leg. I then proceeded to drag myself towards the deck, looking like a dog scooting in the process. After finding a place on the deck comfortable enough to spit, I take out my pack of cigarettes, open it, and retrieve one of its contents along with the shitty dollar store lighter I keep in the carton. I proceed to bring the cigarette ever closer to my mouth as I light it, filling the air with a pungent yet soothing sensation of nicotine and tobacco, helping to ease my nerves and helping me ignore the pain. As the smoke exits my lungs, I gaze around my surroundings to see just how big Rosa's backyard really is. It makes sense considering Rosa lives in a more rural part of Old Kadira Bluffs. Yeah, I'm getting snotty. With the only other 2 houses neighboring her own. The Castillo family must have a pretty peaceful home out here. I feel a strange sense of peace wash over me, especially with how the stars dance upon the grassy fields like a cascade of lunar brilliance, with no one but me, the moonlit sky, and a poorly lit cigarette. I wish I could have shared moments like these with Fang. What I would give just to hold you in my arms again, and see you one last time. How are you doing? A gentle voice pulls me on my thoughts. I turn around and see Stella address me with a shy yet considering presence, adorned with an oversized Precure t-shirt accompanied with cyan shorts and kitten slippers. If it weren't any more obvious, I guess she's staying the night too. I'm doing a little better now, thanks. Don't be a dick, Anon. She came to check up on you. You're not being rude. I understand if you're not in the best mood. I'm sorry. Stella looks away with dejection. Thanks to me and my fucking mumbling. Wait, Stella! I interject before pausing, causing Stella to face me again to hear me. I'm sorry, I just haven't really spoken to anyone since high school. My people skills are a bit rusty. Not that they were any good to begin with. My eyes look and meet Stella, albeit briefly as her eyes wander into the skies. After what happened, I just kind of stopped talking to others. The Lime Stegosaurus takes a seat on the steps right by my side, but her eyes remain on the stars. Remaining silent, should I explain further? I almost died that day. Although it doesn't feel like what's happened or what should have happened. My response manages to grab Stella's attention, who shifts her gaze towards me as I continued my monologue. No one visited me in the hospital, not even my own parents. I might as well have been dead to them and everybody else. After that, I've just been drifting through life with no purpose or meaning. And maybe it's better this way. My eyes meet the ground as I breathe a deep sigh, staring at my hand holding the still-lit cigarette, staring as the paper continues to burn and turn to ash. A couple seconds pass, and I feel the light touch of a hand on my shoulder. Fate hasn't been that kind to me either. Stella confessed with a mixture of sadness and defeat painted across her face. I haven't really talked to anyone either, other than my parents and Rosa, since... Her voice trembling slightly before she's able to finish her sentence and remind herself of the trauma she endured. I know what you mean. You're not alone there. It's been hard. I reply, uncertain of anything else to add. Yeah. Stella returns her hands from my shoulder and returns to her lap. Damn it, why can't I be better at this shit? Has my self-imposed exile into neatdom really turned me into this much of an unsociable autist? So, the beginning of Stella's sentence snaps my attention back to her. How is your leg feeling now? Does it still hurt? Stella motions to my mess of a leg. Inflamed, throbbing, fragile. The words that come to mind describe how I feel. My leg feels like it's practically about to fall apart any second, and I probably shouldn't say that though. It still hurts pretty bad, not gonna lie. But it's not as painful as before. The shy Stego's expressions turns into one of concern as she examines my leg in its crippled state. I still can't believe that someone would just hurt you like that. Stella remains fixated upon my leg with a sympathetic expression. No one deserves to be treated like that. Correct, I deserve worse than this. Another brief yet comfortable silence passes us, putting my suspicions at ease that I'm not mumbling whatever self-depreciating bullshit echoes through my mind. So, have you seen any new anime lately? I turn to ask the somber Stego, trying to lighten the mood. Oh yeah, I've seen a couple new good shows, actually. Stella beams, albeit slightly, in response to my question. Let's see here. There's Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Promised Neverland, Beastars, oh, and Demon Slayer. I cringe a little bit on the inside, being reminded of Stella's normie taste in anime. Still, the simple question seemingly helped brighten her mood. She was holding a consistent eye contact with a slight smile forming her lips. How about you, Anon? Have you watched any lately? I haven't actually really watched any anime shows lately. Shockingly enough, the past few months, I've just been glued to my monitor, roaming various dry heaps of the internet with the occasional rock ring playthrough every now and then. The fog enveloped my brain, making it difficult to recall memories of seeing anything new, except maybe... I think my less than thought answer comes out, to an abrupt stop as I feel a searing and tingling sensations in my fingers and my left hands. Oh god damn it! I forgot the cigarette. Ah shit! I cry as I drop the cigarette and dispose of the remains of the hard stomp of my left foot. Wait. Fuck! Mistakes were made. Fucking caveman instincts. Anon, are you okay? This sudden outburst caused Stella to shoot up from her seat with a worried expression. Before I can respond through the pained breathing and panting, a tirade of Spanish emerges from the house. ¿Qué está pasando afuera? ¿Están todos bien? The yelling emerges from the house, grows louder and louder as the source of said tirade approaches the sliding door. Anon, what happened? Are you alright? Rosa calls out as she moves the desk chair away from the door, and she emerges from the entrance barefoot, wearing a set of plain yet colorful pajamas. and runs towards the both of us to investigate my pain cries. I'm okay, I just did something I wasn't supposed to do. I answer as I weakly lift my egg from the ground and hold it midair, to avoid touching the ground. What do you mean? What? Rose's inquiry is cut short when she knows the stomps remains of a cigarette where my foot just happened to be a second ago, and like a switch, Rose's worried expression turns to an expression of annoyance. Before I can explain myself, I am interrupted with a smack upside the head. Ow, what the hell? No fumar, queres mater pulmones? What I? Apostarle casa? She angrily interrogates me in her mother tongue. Besides, why are you two even out this late? You should be going to sleep now. That's almost exactly what I'm trying to avoid right now. But why, Anon? You need it most. You're injured. The tone of her voice softens slightly as she responds to my mumbling. She doesn't need to know why. She doesn't need to know. I couldn't sleep if I wanted to. I have insomnia. The glance that Rosa gives me in response to them says it all. Come on, we all know it's a load of bullshit. Her piercing stare causes me to give in and let out a sigh. Alright, I can't sleep. Not because I physically can't, because I don't want to. I confess to both of them as they continue to look at me with concern. I've had nothing but nightmares where I'm forced to relive that day, again and again. Each one becoming more gruesome and horrific than the last. I just can't. Not anymore. Rosa kneels down to me, next to me and raises a hand, but places it on my shoulder rather than across my head this time. Lo siento, Anon. I can't even imagine how hard that must be for you. Rosa attempts to comfort me while patting my shoulder, but you need rest. It will only be much harder for your leg to heal if you don't get rest. I don't really want to sleep, but seeing how fucked my leg is right now, I don't have anything to help me stay awake. I guess I really don't have much choice, especially when I'm trying to reason with Rosa. Okay. I give in to the ankle source, please. Muy bueno. Here, I'll help you up. She responds, relieved at my answer. Just like before, Rosa approaches my right side, and before she's able to ask, Stella approaches my left, ready to help me. Okay. Uno, dos, tres. And she counts down as the two help me off the ground, and we make our way back inside to where the two help me into the desk chair they've lent me. Oh, and by the way, Anon, we managed to find some pillows and blankets for you on the couch, including one for your leg, Rosa informs me as she wheels me through the house, passing through the kitchen and the hallway on the way to the living room. Thanks, Rosa. I don't know what to say. I reply to her, looking behind the chair and back at her. She simply responds with a friendly smile. We finally enter the living room, and I see a couch adorned with 3 fresh pillows and an oversized yet equally fuzzy white blanket. I mean it. You've really done so much for me tonight. I really appreciate it. I address the two with a mixture of gratitude and disbelief. Both Rosa and Stella smile again at me. Though Stella's more shy and subtle than Rosa's confidence now. Of course. What are friends for, after all? Rosa nods before turning around to disappear for the night. Buenos noches, Anon. Only Stella remained in the living room with me, who stood a couple feet away from me, fidgeting and avoiding eye contact again. I'm glad we found you again. Yeah, me too. She stops her fidgeting and turns to follow the direction Rosa left to, but not before stopping by the door. She turns her head towards me slightly, and I can see a slight smile. Have a good night. I hope you feel better in the morning. Thanks, Stella. You too. Her smile remained as she gave me a slight head bow. Of course. And left the living room, leaving me alone in the room of the Castillo household. The room before me, dimly lit by the blank lamp placed beside the makeshift bed on one of the tables. This couch alone looked comfier than my bed. I'm gonna hate myself in the morning for agreeing to this, aren't I? I shift myself from the desk chair to the couch with a flare of caution and further exerting pain to my leg. Success! I slip under the blanket, placing my leg on the pillow meant to offer comfort and support. I usually sleep on my side, but since I don't feel like waking up everyone in the house with my screams tonight... Damn! This is really comfortable. If I actually want to sleep tonight, I might enjoy this. With one thing left to do, I reach over to the lamp on the table and turn off the lights and watch as the room fades to black. surrounding me in comfortable darkness, inviting my body to sink into the couch, enveloping me in its warmth. After everything, I still can't believe those two still helped me and let me stay the night. A simple phrase of words echoes through my mind as I drift to sleep. Do I truly deserve this? And there's your fucking author's notes. How am I doing, fellers? There's not a lot of yapping going on. Sorry. Oh, my bones. Do you enjoy? Huh? Who's here? Oh, yeah, I'm still fine, Sierra. Yeah. Are you actually watching the thing on YouTube, or you're just hanging out in here? Oh, cool. Yeah. Yeah, Iggy, the fucking chapter 1 was baller. Yeah. I'm probably only gonna get through 2 tonight. Just so I can, sleep a reasonable amount. Let me take a drink and refill my water. My fucking water's on the desk, so it's fine. You probably saw the picture I posted to the Discord of my fucking water setup. That was in the fucking assorted media. That was my desk setup. Yeah. Tons of fun. Tons and tons of fun. My lag is a full minute behind, so it takes me a while to get fucking chat notifications. I'm just trying not to fucking kill my computer. Oh yeah, well, that's just the fans are small, so they're not able to move enough air unless they go that fast. I need to upgrade that, but money. Money, money, money. I'm gonna get back to reading. Yep. Another day. Another attempt at trying to go 6 hours without wanting to blow my brains out. After a relatively uneventful and long walk, I finally approach the school, not particularly bothered with how late I am. It's a particularly foggy day out, as the clouds enshroud the sky, giving me a degree of eeriness commonly seen in shitty horror movies. A thought occurred to me as that stopped me in my tracks. Weird how, just when I notice this now, I didn't see it when I... Wait. Why don't I remember leaving my apartment this morning? Huh. Weird. I make my way closer and closer to the school, but a buzz emanates from my pocket, beckoning me to grab my phone and read the notifications. A text from Fang? Control over my life you denied, and now death approaches from the sky. Why'd it be me you had to vilify? Goodbye, Volcano High. What the actual fuck? Something is very wrong here. I approach the building's entrance with a feeling of uneasiness and dread. The closer I get to this door, the more I notice the disturbing lack of a noise from the school. Sure, class has already started, but it's usually still louder than this. As my hands grip the door handles, every instinct in my body is telling me to turn back away and run as far as I can. At the same time, my mind is telling me to enter and investigate the building after receiving that cryptic text from Fang. Well, no more turning back. I open the doors to the school. With my eyes closed, my nose is instantly struck with the overwhelming metallic stench of wet ozone, the smell that everybody knows. And when my eyes open, I'm greeted by the sight of the school's hallway, a place where I've made myself familiar with over the last couple months. My school's hallway, reduced to a mountain of corpses. A sinking feeling grasps my heart in horror as my mind begins to process the image in front of me. Amidst the sea of red, the remains of countless of my classmates laid across the floor. The light devoid from the eyes like a doll. God, no, this isn't real. This isn't real. This isn't real. No, no! A cry emerges from the hallway ahead of me before being cut off by loud gunshots. The shot startled me enough to lose my balance and trip over one of the bodies, falling face first in a puddle of blood. I emerge, trying to regain my breath, while wiping away the blood off my face. As I can see more clearly, my eyes are caught by the bloody lying face down to my right, noticing the floral green jacket riddled with bullets and the wings of the corpse being misshapen. Oh no. Nazer! I don't need to turn the body over to know it's him. I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do. I returned my direction to the source of the scream. However, the bodies that lay in front of me became alarmingly familiar. Naomi? Rosa? Spears? No, this isn't real. This is all just a fucking horrible nightmare. I'm waking up right now. Just have to get out of here. I try to navigate through the bloody corridor, treading carefully to avoid tripping over or stepping over my former classmates. More and more of the victims become familiar. Reed, one of the few people who's genuinely nice to me, lying motionless on his back with a bullet hole between his eyes. Next to him was the body of his bandmate, Trish, crumpled against the wall with a large gunshot in her upper chest. None of this makes any sense. Why the fuck is this happening? I tried to follow the source of the cry. The first thing I noticed is how immaculate the hallway looks, contrasting the bloodbath. I just exited. No bodies laid scattered across the floor, save for one. My gaze spots the puddle of blood growing larger from a green stegosaurus that lay huddled against the lockers, her face stained in tears and her stomach in crimson. Stella? My observations are cut short as both my legs crumble underneath, causing me to fall to my knees in excruciating agony, my ears ringing from both shots. The impact of the fall on my shins only intensified the pains. I attempt to muster a scream, the pain preventing me from opening my throat further. I can only hyperventilate as the searing white pain ravages my body. Fang. Oh wait, fuck. I hear a pair of footsteps become louder and louder, the sound of leather boots knocking against the hard floor. Fear and sorrow envelops me, further when the figure enters my vision and turns to face me. Fang. Her wings are bloodied and scattered with bald spots. Her arms tense as she grips a revolver in her right hand. The barrel still smoking. She remained still and stared me down, eyes full of hatred and malice, her body quivering with rage. Millions of emotions go through my mind as I meet the face of my attacker. Shock, heartbreak, remorse. The feeling is almost indescribable. Fang, please, I attempt to weakly muster out, the agony making it difficult to speak correctly. Shut up! Fang snarls, rage visibly bubbling from her as she raises the pistol towards me. You made me do this! And you're gonna get what's coming to you! The gunshot causes me to cry out in fear as in shoot up, yet I'm still alive. Additionally, I find myself not surrounded by the bodies of my former classmates, but rather in Rose's living room, drenched in my own sweat on her couch. I take a moment to gather my bearings, and pull the blankets off of me, revealing that only one of my legs is injured rather than both of them. Fucking hell. I told them this is exactly why I try not to sleep. The dreams I've been having are getting worse and worse. Sometimes I'm forced to relive that day and repeat, watching everybody around me die. more horribly than the last. Other times, the ghosts that haunt me daily extend their torment into my dreams too, force me to suffer their wrath again and again. Well, I'm awake now at least. Better get my ass out of bed to see where Stella and Rosa are. I take a quick look around the room and spot the desk chair sitting by the coffee table to my right, and beside it a pair of crutches leaning against the makeshift wheelchair. Seated on the chair laid a note that simply said, "For and on." I already have a pair of crutches at home. They don't have to give me another pair. I really don't deserve any of this. Although I do need them to walk. I grab hold of both crutches, position them one on each arm, and lift myself off the ground. It's awkward, but I manage to support myself with the crutches and put most of my weight on my non-crippled leg. It's a little bit since I last used crutches, so I make a few seconds to feel free for them to make sure I know what I'm doing so I don't fall on my ass. I put all the weight on the makeshift legs and use my right leg to move forward and shift the weight back to my foot while using the crutches to move forward until I gain a sense of rhythm. Using that formula, I make my way out of the living room into the corridor of the Castillo household. As I make my way towards the kitchen, I examine some of the items in the decorative hallway, photos of Rose and her family, artworks, religious memorabilia, nothing too dissimilar from what was in the living room. But the table right of the hallway catches my eye and stops me in my tracks. A framed picture of a rather burly-looking older male Ankle-Slore, auburn hair with white streaks, a rather bushy beard. He's smiling in the picture with warm eyes, and beside the frame laid 2 unlit candles and a cross hanging above the photo. The realization hits me that the photo on the table is supposed to be a memorial to someone the Castillos lost, and I notice the words on the bottom of the frame. Se ha ido, pero nunca se ha olvidado. An epitaph. Gone, but never forgotten. Was he Rose's father? Or grandfather, perhaps? Whoever he was, he must have been a very important man to Rosa and her family. My eyes leave the memorial as I enter the kitchen. The first thing I catch is Stella sitting motionlessly at the kitchen table, still wearing the same anime-themed pajamas as last night, holding a warm cup in both hands as Fang aims a revolver towards her head. Wait, what? Fear enshrouds my heart. No. Am I still dreaming? Fang's not supposed to be here. All I can do is close my eyes and yell, "No!" My terrified scream causes Stella to jump in fear while letting out a scream of her own. Eee! Hey, ¿qué te pasa? ¿Por qué gritas y pones esa loco? My eyes open to Stella, and at the table hyperventilating, her hands grasping a cup of coffee with Fang nowhere to be seen. And my now schizo-tiered outburst sent the lime stegosaurus into a panic attack. Well, what do you have to say for yourself, Anon? I finally take notice of Rosa standing by the stove with a rubber spatula in her hand, shooting me an angry glare. I'm sorry, I didn't recognize you guys for a second. Dios mío, are you sure it was just your leg that was broken and not your eyes too? Rosa shoots me a confused glare at my lie. Setting the spatula down, she takes a seat to comfort her distraught Stego. Head buried in the table, her breathing slowed down as Rosa rubs her shoulder while reassuring her quietly in Spanish. Unlike Stella, Rosa is fully dressed in a crimson hoodie, accompanied by a dark black pair of jeans, similar to her outfit from the day prior. Sorry for being retarded. I had a pretty nasty dream last night. I apologize to the two of them and make peace. Let's just say what I saw in the dream made me a little jumpy this morning. Rosa continues her confused stare towards me. However, her demeanor softens as if the light switch went off in her head. Oh, see, I remember you said last night your dreams... You often had bad dreams, no? Her face lit up with a symphony as she recalled our previous conversation. Yeah, this one was pretty bad. I saw it Please don't. Please don't. A muffled yet breathy voice emerges from the startled Stego. Her face is buried in her arms still. My attention is directed towards Stella. Her breathing slows down and her body relaxes as she looks up to me. Faces and eyes puffy. Stella's look is filled with a variety of different emotions. Discomfort, fear, sympathy, pain. Please don't talk about that dream. Her eyes fixated on mine as she requested. The day Fang turned Volcano High into a shooting range deeply scarred Stella. Whatever happened to her, it seems any mere mention or allusion to what happened that day seems to upset her. Recalling how Rosa is when speaking to her about her friend's mental health, or how she would avoid directly happening, just referring to it as that day, it would probably be a smart idea for me to do the same thing. They did a lot for me yesterday, even when I didn't deserve anything. The least I could do was not be a dick. I'm sorry, Stella, I won't. I directed my voice towards the disturbed Stego as I took a seat at the table and glanced at both of them. And I'm sorry for scaring you both. I didn't mean to. Stella replies to my apology with a gentle nod, and Rose's expression eases as a slight smile appears on her face. Está bien, Enon. It happens, Rosa assures me. So how is your leg feeling this morning? And how do the crutches help? My leg? Well, it still feels weird. It's about to fall apart at a moment's notice, but it's not as painful as it was yesterday, I suppose. I probably should be wearing a cast, but a doctor can only have so many medical supplies in their house. Still, it's not the leg I'm worried about. Anon? Stella's words snap me back to reality. Oh, it still hurts a little bit, but I do feel a bit better today. I attempt to answer their concerns with a half-truth, but they don't seem to be convinced by the summary. Then a brief silence follows as Rosa tries to analyze my words while Stella goes back to her drink. So, how did you guys sleep last night? I asked both of them, trying to change topic and break the silence. To my surprise, Stella's the first one to answer my question as she sets her cup down and looks back at me. I couldn't sleep last night, so I just watched more episodes of this new anime I'm checking out called Vinland Saga. Stella's expression brightens, contrasting the frightened state I found herself in moments prior. It's a really cool show. It's about Vikings and stuff. Huh. I find it hard to wrap my head around Stella watching any anime that isn't Magical Girl or Fujoshi shit, let alone one about Vikings. I guess a lot can happen in 6 months. Cool, Stella. I managed to choke out. Not really sure where to direct the conversation to next. How far did you get? Ay, niños. As fun as this topic is for us, I'm afraid we have to leave very soon. Rosa interjects, glancing at her phone. Why does she need to leave so early? If I'm going to drop you and Stella home and make it in time for school, we have to leave now and on. Why couldn't the part of my brain that causes me to mumble like a dumbass just get broken rather than my leg? Never mind about that. It completely slipped my mind that it was Monday today and that Rosa was still going to Volcano High. Oh, right, I forgot about that. Busy day today, Rosa? I ask as the focused ankylosaur begins gathering books and notes that are scattered on the table. See, I have a test for my morning class, the student council meeting at lunch, and I also have work with the gardening club after school, Rosa explains, with a hint of griping in her voice. It couldn't be easy having that much responsibility. Not that I would know, obviously. It sounds pretty productive. How about you, Stella? What are your plans? I direct my question towards the somber Sego, who I caught mid-sip of her drink. Stella was caught off guard by the question, started to choke on her coffee, and began coughing. With Rosa patting her back as she gave a slight chuckle. I don't know yet, she answered with uncertainty, her voice sounding hoarse after substituting coffee for oxygen. Well, it's not like I can't relate with that. I've got no fucking clue what I'm gonna do when I get home. Well, what about you, Anan? What will you do? Me, I struggle to answer. Rosa makes it sound like she's asking my plans for today, but I know full well the question was a broader meaning. What can I say other than what I've been doing already for the past 5 months? Just withering away in my apartment while I aimlessly scroll the internet and play Rock Ring on repeat till my eyes bleed. I don't know yet. Glad to see I'm not alone there. Stella uncharacteristically responds with a hint of sarcasm. I don't think I've ever seen her use sarcasm before. No importante. The day has only just begun. I'm sure you two will figure out what you want to do eventually. Rosa chimes in as she rises from the table, clearly ready to depart. But we have to leave now if we're going to make it on time. Oh, okay, let me just put on my clothes first, Stella sheepishly asks as she exits the room. Understandably, since oversized weeb shirts and cat slippers typically don't make the best public outfit. Wait, this gives me an idea.
I just gotta use the bathroom if that's cool. Pour a supper, sister. Anon, just be as quick as you can. Rosa excuses me, prompting me to raise from the table, albeit awkwardly due to the crutches, and I hobble myself into the hallway. I probably should have asked where exactly the bathroom was, since I didn't have to use it all night. I see 2 doors on each side of the makeshift memorial. Taking a lucky guess, I open the door on the left and see a closet filled only with a couple of coats, boots, a plaque obscured by various articles of clothing, only the name visible. Sebastian Castillo. Gathering from what I can see on the plaque, it seems like some kind of award. So why would something so openly prestigious be hidden in the closet? I probably shouldn't even be looking here. I close the door as quietly as I can, not to let Rosa know that I'm violating her family's privacy. I carefully step away from the closet and make my way to the other door on the right, successfully looking in the bathroom this time. Compared to the rest of their house, the bathroom does seem rather plain, rather than the colorful decorations and Latin memorabilia. The room is adorned with a mirror, soap, drawer, sink, and of course a toilet. The latter of which wasn't why I went to the bathroom. I'm a piece of shit for this. Locking the bathroom door, I began to check the cabinets below the sink for any trace of pills, painkillers, Ambien, Adderall. Hell, I'll even take some random prescription meds as long as it makes me fall asleep. But all I find is some extra rolls of toilet paper and a bottle of Joaquin Dodex. Standard bathroom appliances. The objects stare at me as if they're mocking me for not failing to find my treasured resource, or how I'm raiding my friend's cabinets for a quick fix. I wonder if I'll be able to knock. Vamos, Anan! We need to go now! Rosa's voice bellows from the door. Never mind. Sorry! Coming! I flush the toilet and run to the sink as to not arouse further suspicion, then unlock the door and see a particularly impatient ankylosaur holding a backpack in one hand and a pair of car keys in the other. Ready now? She asked before moving towards the door. Yeah, sorry about that. Wait, where's Stella? I ask as I shut the bathroom door and follow her throughout the hallway. Donde, Chris? She's waiting in the star for us. She turns around to face me with a scowl. The sudden hostility from Rosa catches me off guard, stopping me in my tracks while trying to keep myself from standing in the crutches. Rosa's scornful quickly evaporates and turns into remorse as she realized the words came out of her mouth. Lo siento, Anan. I've just been dealing with a lot right now, with school, work, life. Figuring out what I want to do once I graduate. And having to bring out 2 emotionally broken teenagers. I shouldn't have snapped at you like that. I should not have snapped at you like that. I'm sorry. Rosa sighs as her body relaxes. Rosa definitely seems a lot more patient than I remember. If I recall correctly, she's starting to kick my ass with the dreaded chancla after falling in her gardens, and at the school gardens flowers, or how I couldn't after I couldn't do what she asked. She'd been nothing but understanding to me, patient, kind, and to me of all people. Why? Let's get going. See? Thankfully, I don't think I mumbled that out loud. About 15 minutes pass as we drive further into Volcadera Bluffs. Since Rosa lives on the outskirts of the city, the drive is a bit long but enjoyable. I've been continuing my earlier conversation with Stella about what new anime she's been watching. It's almost refreshing to see her cheer up compared to the downtrodden state that she's been. And then he meets with this really big Viking guy who was friends with his father. Like, he's really strong too, and there's this one part where he even uppercuts a horse. Even Rosa chimed into the conversation, which surprised me as I didn't take her as one who'd partake in anime. There's no way he could beat Goku or Naruto. Raptor Jesus, and I thought Stella had normie taste. But still, it's just nice being able to have a conversation with another living being, not just a loser behind a screen, and certainly not the dead. Is this what it feels like to have friends again? Even before coming to Volcadera Bluffs, I hadn't had a friend for a long time. After the incident, I came to the conclusion that friendship was once again nothing but a distant memory to me. But I'm still not sure what to make of this. Both of them did more than enough for me, especially Rosa. And I repaid her by trying to steal medicine from her family. Some fucking friend I am. A part of me just wanted to see this as a one-time thing. They only helped me out of pity. They didn't need to leave a former classmate to rot in the street, hanging unconscious. But another part of me doesn't want to let go of that.
and believes their intentions were genuine. As roads suddenly transition from rural to urban, as we make our way to the heart of Alcadera Bluffs, there are a few turns of converging neighborhoods. Rosa pulls into the driveway, which we can see we have arrived at Stella's house. A clean 3-story house of modern design, accompanied by a Hadro Civic, sitting in the driveway and a well-maintained garden facing the house. Not unlike Rosa's house, and part of me forgot that Stella was also a skilled green thumb like her best friend. "Thanks again, Rosa. I appreciate you helping me out and having me over," said the lime stego in a rather cheerful manner as she unbuckled his seatbelt and grabbed her bag, but not before turning back to me. "And it was great seeing you again, Anon. I hope we can talk sometime." Why would you want to talk to me, though? Yeah, me too. It was great seeing both of you again, I muster out to Stella. Would it be okay if we exchanged numbers so we could talk? Wait. The retarded half of me is saying, "Lol, a girl is trying to get my number," whereas the realist part of me is trying to find a way to refuse so I can just wither away some more. "Oh, see, that's a great idea. Anon, let's exchange numbers too so we can stay in touch." I guess I don't have much choice in the matter, do I? I suppose it's the least I could do. I comply and spell out my phone number to both of them, prompting them to send a test message to add them back. "Hola, Anon, Rosa here." Astrology reveals the will of the gods. The two messages that describe the two perfectly. "It was nice to see you again, Stella. I hope you have a good one." I wave goodbye as she exits the car and enters his house, her body language slightly more cheery and positive than the morning I saw her as. "Okay, Anon, where do you live?" "Oh no, about that. We were in Skinrow? I already know that." Rosa let out a chuckle. "I mean, what is your address?" I hope she's okay with this. I tell her my address, and to my surprise, she doesn't object to driving her car in one of the shittiest and most dangerous parts of town. Even the taxi driver wouldn't dare set foot there. "Not way, Marvis. We will be there soon." Rosa chirps from the driver's seat. Enjoying the ride, I lean my head back against the seat and look towards the window on my right, wishing to see the city pass by as the car moves. However, I see a familiar face staring back at me rather than my own reflection. The face shoots a smug smile, contrasting my disturbed face. Christ. Bad enough you fucked everything up with Fang and me, but now you're gonna drag Stella and Rose into your shit too? Nazer, why are you here now? Why now? What's wrong? Too scared to take the consequences of your actions? Nazer seemingly replied to my own thoughts with a laugh and flashes a smug smirk in my directions. "I knew you were a pussy. I didn't think you were this sad." No, none of this is real. The Nazer I knew wouldn't talk like this. He wouldn't sound like a puppet. Nor would he be this vindictive. "Oh, am I being too mean? Maybe if you weren't such a shitty friend to everybody around you, maybe they wouldn't be so vindictive." Nazer pointed at me with his finger through the reflection while echoing the last word in a mocking tone. "So, be honest with me here. You gonna let them die too? Please. No. Like you did with me? Stop. Leave me the fuck alone!" It only takes me a second to realize I said these words aloud, and the car suddenly comes to a stop, and a rather confused voice calls from the driver's seat. "Cuidemos? Anon, what's wrong?" Rosa asks with a confused tone as she turns around to face me. Shit, how do I even explain this? "Sorry, Rosa, I thought I saw a bee." "A bee?" Rosa replies flatly. "Did you also see a bee this morning in the kitchen? Por favor, tell me what's wrong." "It's nothing, Rosa, just your average hallucination. Don't worry about it. I'm just being schizo having arguments with dead people. Everything's perfectly fine here." "Hallucinations?" Rosa inquires with a degree of shock and concern. Fuck, I mumbled that. Well, I guess I have to explain now. Okay, I'll tell you everything, Rosa, but let's continue on the road. Rosa agrees with a nod before shifting the car from park to drive, which kind of surprised me a bit since I thought she would refuse and stop the car to hear the whole conversation first. "Okay, Anand, tell me everything." I let out a defeated sigh. "I still see Fang every day. Nazer and Naomi too. They visit me to remind me of all the mistakes I've made and how I let them die." Rosa's face is a mixture of shock and confusion, evidenced by her reflection in the driver's mirror. "They visit you?" I nod. I mean, yeah and no. I know they're dead, but it still feels real. "And they come to haunt me by reminding me of how badly I fucked up.
How everybody died because of my actions. I explained, exhaustion plaguing my voice. That's why I freaked out in the kitchen. I dreamed last night that Feng shot up the entire school, and I mean the entire school, but when I woke up, I saw Feng aiming a gun at Stella's head. I can hear Rosa mutter something in Spanish while behind the wheel, clearly shocked at my revelation. Dios míos! And you've been having these nightmares and hallucinations since? She inquires, sadness and sympathy plaguing her voice. I see the conflict in her face from the driver's mirror, as if she wants to stop the car. I answer her question with a nod of my head. Yeah, it started after around the time I left the hospital. I visited the cemetery and watched Fang and Nazer's funeral, from a distance, of course. I didn't deserve to be there. I made them suffer enough. I confess, while fighting every urge of my body, begging me to stop talking. And when I got home that night, the first thing I saw was Fang. She just stood there, leering at me, eyes full of contempt and hate. If it weren't for me, she'd still be alive. They'd all still be alive. My confusion is interrupted as the car comes to a sudden stop, and Rosa raises her voice from behind the wheel. Ni una palabra más. Rosa unbuckles her seatbelt and turns to the driver's seat facing me, her voice full of sadness, concern, anger, and her eyes were on the verge of tears. I told you, none of this is your fault, Anon. Rosa shuts out, slapping her hand against the glove box, emphasizing her points. Fang was a monstro. She always has been. You couldn't have stopped her. Nobody could. She's wrong. She wasn't a monster. Not to me. She was just lost. Rosa stretches out her left hand past her seat to take hold of my own left hand, giving it a tight squeeze. You're not alone, Anon. No mas. Gazing into my eyes deeply as her voice breaks slightly. Fang era pura maldad. But I attempt to interject before being cut off. Fang made you suffer, not the other way around. She tightens her grip on my hand, accidentally causing a small amount of pain. You don't have to hide your pain. Not with me. Not with Bella. We're here for you. You are? Of course, para cuesero en los amigos. I apparently mumbled that out loud as Rosa's lips creeped into a smile. Before you woke up, Stella was telling me how happy she was to see that we found you again. We were so worried about what happened to you after the shooting. I haven't seen her that happy in a long time, Anon. Really? Me? Why? I can't say too much, but... Rosa hesitates before finding the right words. Stella sees a bit of herself in you. It would make her happy to see that there's someone she can relate to. Someone she can relate to? Wait, she's referring to Stella's anime obsession? Plus, I'm pretty sure Stella enjoys gardening too. Wait, she can't relate to you? I thought you guys were like best friends. Oh, we are for sure. She's like an hermana to me. Rosa's face lights up, seemingly worried that I got the wrong idea from her statement. But you know, she has your passions. And I have my own. De todos modos. I wanted to ask. Stella and I are planning lunch on Friday. We wanted to ask if you'd like to come. They want me to go to lunch with them? I mean, money is really tight right now. I can't afford to be blowing it all on eating out. But it was nice to see them again. I don't know what to make of this. Part of me wants to see them again and to know that I won't be alone. Yeah, I'd like that, Rosa. The light washed across the Ankylosaur's face, and she finally lets go of my hand, leaving behind the slight shade of blue across the skin. Marveloso! I'll be joining you to fill in all the details soon. Rosa turns back to the face of the windshield and adjusts her car from park to drive as we continue our journey to Skin Row. As I'm contemplating her words and her invitation, a new wave of emotion washes over me, contrasting the ones that plagued my mind for the past 5 months. Anticipation? Satisfaction? Perhaps even joy? One day earlier, those eyes just look up on me, begging, fucking pathetic. Wait, fuck you. Shut the fuck up! Thud. I slam the metal back against the crest. Again and again, each swing more brutal than the last. This bastard fucking dies today. You took everything from me, I roar with hate. Just fucking die, skinny piece of shit! I get a couple swings against the leg for good measure. I hear a sharp crack as metal meets the skin. Good. Fuck, he's passed out. No good. Get the fuck up! I shout, groveling at the groveling little monkey, giving a kick in the groin. I need you awake for this.
I raise the baseball bat towards his head, but before I can bash his brains out, a voice calls from a car behind and distracts me. Rosa! Is that Stella? Oh yeah, adelante de él! What, Rosa? Fucking hell, everyone in the accent of Skin Row is gonna hear that. I gotta get out of here. I don't want to leave my work unfinished, but I'll find him again. I give him a sharp, quick kick to the leg again, cause him to cry out and take off as quickly as I can, taking a turn down the alleyway to my right. I don't know if they're following me or not, so I instinctively take cover behind one of the dumpsters. Fuck, everybody who ever talks shit about me being short. I wait a few minutes, anticipating the footsteps of my pursuers becoming louder and louder. Still, all I hear is distant yelling of Spanish. ¿Qué está haciendo? Ven y ayúdame a meterlo en el coche ahora. I don't speak Spanish, so I can only assume Rose is calling me out. Fucking cunt. Why would she instead want to save a worthless human who did nothing but cause misery for everybody around him? It's a mystery to me. Don't just stand there. Help me get in the van. Vamos. Wait. They're not coming after me? My suspicions come true as ears are greeted by the obnoxious sound of rubber hitting cracked pavement on the road as the tires' screeching becomes fainter and fainter. I can only assume they're gone now. Fuck both of them. Fucking on. Fuck that weird anime-loving stego bitch. And fuck that stupid religious fascist. The heavy painting caused my adrenaline quickly turns to rage. Why couldn't I finish the job? Why couldn't I make things right for Fang, my grip on the bat tightens? Why couldn't I just fucking kill Anon, damn it? The dumpster echoes throughout the valley with a twang and sound as I take out my rage, beating the object as hard as I can. Twing! Fucking skinny bastard! And then, as if I had the wind knocked out of me, I drop the bat to the ground, and I left with exhaustion as I see that with a cold heart. And beneath that, sorrow. No friends left. The family wants nothing to do with me. No real future, and Fang is gone. Forever. The world is nothing but a black pit, filled with the shittiest of people. The job's not over. I still have work to do. I crouch down and reach under the dumpster, pull out an old worn black duffel bag. The kind of hockey players usually use to store their equipment. I still can't believe I had to wear this ridiculous fucking outfit when I pulled this job. Raptor Jesus, I look like a character from one of Riley's video games. No better time than now to get this shit off. I remove the paintball mask first, and my cold wind hits my face, kissing my skills with a cool icy wind. Dropping the mask as it lands into the bag, I begin taking off the other articles of my clothing, along with the steel-toed boots I was wearing, leaving me standing in the alley in my socks, wearing nothing but a tank top and some light shorts. It also doesn't help that I'm doing all this in a particularly cold autumn night in the dark alleyway. Eager to warm myself up, I unzip the bag, revealing a clean pair of clothes consisting of my favorite yellow hoodie, accompanied by my typical track pants and red boots. My typical outfit. Also one of the only things I could grab when I left home. I begin to dress myself rather quickly, as while I was hiding behind a dumpster, I don't want some perv to see me half naked in an alleyway. The cold makes it difficult to move my arms around a hoodie to properly fit them in. After hastily getting dressed, all that's left is to put everything away. I pick up the bat, noticing slight bloodstains on it. I begin to carefully wrap it with the get-up as I disguise myself in, kind of like a Christmas present. After putting the clothes away and zipping the bag shut, all that's left is to hit a little true to get rid of their shit, and to go into one of the few places that hasn't abandoned me. About an hour passes, and I finally enter one of the lively areas of Little Trudon. This part of town reminds me of home, making me feel at ease, even if it's only briefly. Approaching into the street corner, I turn around and instantly spot my destination. Dynamo's. As I approach the restaurant entrance, I glance through the windows and see the establishment filled almost to its entirety. I'm honestly surprised. Why the hell are there so many people here on a Sunday night? Just what I fucking needed. An entire building full of people to see Triceratops Thug carrying a duffel bag containing a bad Halloween costume and a bloody bat. Let's just get this over with. I enter the restaurant, opening the door with one hand, careful not to hit the door with my bag. A bell rings as my arrival, and my nostrils are hit with the overwhelming scent of cheese, tomato sauce, and meat. Carnivore meat. Hey, welcome to the historic Dynamo's. Deal for one? A human woman calls me with an arms. Oh, wait. I'm gonna fucking do that.
Welcome to the historic Dynamo's table for one. A human woman calls to me with an unenthusiastic expression, dressed in typical apron and hat with the Dynamo's logo. I'm here to see the manager. Okay, hang on. She turns to her left and calls out, "We got a code K at the front desk. A Karen, I'm coming. Oh, wait, no, it's a Karen? I'm coming. Code K. Did this bitch just call me a Karen? I've had enough monkeys to deal with already lately. Finally, the jolly-looking Tyrannosaurus Rex comes from around the corner where the server is looking. Hey, Trish, good to see ya. I just came to my office in the back. I'll be right with you. Will do, Mo. I dryly nod as I begin to heed his direction, passing by all the tables of people who have their dinner to stare at me. What the fuck are they looking at? Oh no, a Triceratops. She's gonna ruin our shitty dinner. It takes all I have to resist the urge to tell these shitheads off. I finally enter the room in the back and see a rather well-maintained and clean office, compiled with a filing cabinet, some shelves containing various awards and framed newspapers, and of course some booze. Centered against the wall lay a rather clean-looking oak desk. The only objects on it were a filing board and 2 glasses. I'm surprised Mo managed to keep this place so clean, considering those arms of his. I sit in the chair adjacent to the wall as I continue waiting for the lively Tyrannosaurus Rex. I'm overwhelmed with the thoughts that have been racing through my head for the past few days. Are my siblings okay? Why isn't Reed answering my texts? Why couldn't I kill that skinny bastard? I had him right where I wanted him, but before I could finish things, those 2 goody losers from school showed up and ruined things. Why would they even want to protect a piece of shit like him? Anon ruined everything. He took Fang away from me. Fang, my bandmate, my best friend, Alrighties, sorry about that. Just had a deal with the tables, you know how it is. Mo finally enters the office, interrupting my contemplation. I turn around to see the usually larger-than-life grin on the restaurant's owner dissipates to a rather calm one, betraying his usual persona as the door closes. So, did you do it? Yep. I nod as I unzip the duffel bag and show the bloodstained bat, along with a shitty disguise. Mo lets out a deep sigh and walks to the shelf and grabs a bottle of whiskey. You know, we normally don't serve underage patrons here, but you look like you could use some. He offers as he brings the bottle back to his desk, setting on the glass in front of me. I'm not a patron. Heh, I beg to differ, considering all the jobs you've taken from me in the past 2 months. He chuckles as he pours the whiskey into the glass, filling them both with Auburn ambrosia. Not before placing an envelope in front of me. I can briefly make up shades of green through the paper. You know I didn't do this for the money. Yeah, but you'd be an idiot not to take it. Mo shrugs before the looks become more serious. Look, let me be real with you, kid. The only reason I had you do this was because I owed a buddy a favor. Not that old Mo here had much choice. Hopefully now that you taught this punk a lesson, he won't be a problem for him no more. If you don't want to be a problem anymore, you should have given me a gun, not a bat. My retort elicits a groan from Mo in response as he begins to rub his eyes while struggling to do so. Look, kid, we've already been over this. You've done good work so far, often security and whatnot, but I don't need a hitman. Fucking coward. Of course he doesn't have the balls to see what needs to be done. You're kidding, right? The piece of shit deserves to die. If it weren't for him and Fang, Fang would still be alive. Listen. Mo's voice bellows through the office, cutting me off. Listen, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe he's a piece of shit. Maybe he's that and more. But this obsession of yours with that Anon kid isn't healthy. It's gonna eat you up. But it's not too late. You's a good kid. And yous can stop taking jobs from me and get back on the right path. Mo attempts to convince me. It's not too late to take back your life. What the hell does he know? I pick up the glass and down the entire glass. The harsh liquid trickling down my throat helps ease my nerves before sitting back into the desk. My life ended a long time ago, Mo. I proceed to stand up and walk towards the exit, but I call it before I open the door. I'll be back next Friday. My response elicits another sigh from him as he deflates further into his desk and picks up his own glass. Yeah, sure. I'll be seeing you, Trish. I exit back into the restaurant and close the door behind me, doing my best to avoid looking at any of those nosy pricks at the tables as they glance at my way with judging eyes. What the hell do they know? Have a good day! The skinny server calls to me with a dull expression as I promptly ignore her and walk out the door, once again ringing the entry bell. Now that that's dealt with, I just want to get back to my apartment and not have to worry about anything else. Mowing is high and mighty bullshit, or Reed being high in general. After what happened that day, Reed has really started to lose himself with that car face shit. I'm not even sure how much of it is left, to be honest. Hopefully he should be preoccupied when I get back, though. As I walk home through the dark streets of Little Trudon, my mind wanders to be overwhelmed as I'm reminded by just how shitty my life has been. After I proved to be disappointing as always, my family threw me away, failing school and just being a shitty sister. The former has been particularly fucking me over the most. Not many places want to hire a Triceratops dropout. Oh, I'm just another bad egg. I'm gonna cause trouble. Fuck all of them. And worst of all, that fucking Skinny still lives. Who the fuck does he think he is? He comes out of nowhere and ruins Worm Drama, destroys everything we had, and he took Fang away from us. From me. I loved them more than anything else. And he fucking killed them. I swear when I find him again, I'll bash his brains out when I find him next. Well, I hope you enjoyed the fucking reading. Yeah, there you go. That's the reading for tonight. Yeah, I did 2 chapters. The reading has made me weary, but I hope you all appreciated it. How did I do? How did I do with voices? I figured I may as well give the server the Dr. Girlfriend voice. My throat feels like it's gonna give out because I don't talk that much usually. Anyway, that's exactly why I have honey at my desk right now, to heal my throat. Anyway, every night this week, 2 chapters. Dog, this is the first time I've tried, doing streaming outside my regular voice, and usually when I do streaming, I'm quiet for most of it. Like, you can look and you can see me playing Fallout 1. It's something. You see, Iggy, I was an autistic child, right? And so I was voluntarily mute for a long time, so my voice never entirely broke. So we're dealing with that now. Yeah, that's right, mute by choice. Anyway, I'll be back at it tonight, or not tonight, tomorrow, with reading. I just figure, do a nice thing, to make sure everybody gets their fucking book. But I appreciate y'all tuning in.